Incredible. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and I have had about 2.5 weeks off. I have not stepped inside this workshop for saving salvage purposes for about 2.5 weeks now, being absolutely mental busy. But we are back in the workshop today, and I have a bit of a different video, and it revolves around a Volkswagen Passat 1.9 TDI. So I'll just go and show you the car, and I'll tell you exactly what today's video shall possess. So here is the car in question. It's a Volkswagen Passat B5, B6, I actually can't remember. One of those anyway. 1.9 TDI 130 PD, and this is my brother-in-law's car. Now, I have worked on this quite a lot in the last 4 or 5 years, and yeah, just been maintaining it, and it broke down. Well, I mean, to be fair, it sat there for about 3 weeks now. It broke down 3 weeks ago, and the RAC actually recovered it into me. Now, it's going to be a bit of a question because this is going to apply to a lot of people. So that car, fixed, working, running with no real issues, will be worth about £1,000. I mean, it's nearly 20 years old. It's done 140,000 miles. It's around about £1,000 car. Now, it broke down on the side of the road, suspected clutch failure. It won't go into gear, and if it does, you can release your foot off the clutch and it won't go anywhere. So suspected clutch failure at this point, along with some other bits. I think it needs front discs and pads. I think it needs a tyre or two. It definitely needs a flywheel, because it's never had a flywheel in it. So already, without even getting it into the workshop, it's going to be around about £1,000 to £1,500 in parts to get this back on the road. So it actually begs the question, is it worth it? This should now technically be written off because the cost of the repair is worth more than the car. Now, it's a question that many people will ask themselves with a car like this. Is it worth repairing? Obviously, on the face of it, it's not, because you could save your £1,500 for argument's sake and just go and buy a new car. You might be able to get the condition this is in. Oh, hello. The condition this is in, 200-300 quid you might get for this, as is. So you could argue you've got £1,800 to go spend on a new car, which is maybe a couple years new in this, a little bit less miles. But the problem you've got is, are you going to have the same problem? There's nothing to say you're not going to have the same problems in the new car in 2 weeks' time. The clutch might go on it, and you might get a £1,000 bill again. So that is the question you've got to ask yourself is, yes, this is only worth £1,000. Yes, it's going to cost me £1,500 to fix. However, I know I won't have to worry about a clutch again. Front disc and pads are good for another 30, 40, 50k. I'll have 2 new tyres. There's a few other bits on it I can't remember at the moment, but you just then know that the work has been done on this car and you won't encounter that bill again for quite some time. So the question that I asked my brother-in-law is, do you intend to keep the car? Would you be looking to upgrade it naturally, regardless of the repair costs, in the next sort of 6 months to a year? If the answer is yes, then it's probably not worth you repairing. You might as well just sell it for £200-300 and put all that money into the new car that you were going to buy anyway. Or if you are going to keep the car for over a year, then yes, it is worth repairing, because you'll still get your money worth out of it. And as I say, there's no guarantee that the new car that you buy isn't going to have the same problems. So that is the question I asked him, and he said to me that no, I do see myself, if possible, keeping the car for more than a year. So I said, well, you've got to fix it then. So that is the best option for you. So that is what we're going to do in today's video, guys. We are going to fix this Passat. I may not get the whole thing done in today's video, depending how we get on. It might just be a look around the car, diagnose, gearbox out, confirm the fault, and then the next video I may repair it. It depends on how we get on, and how I get on with time as well, really. So yeah, I've got to get the supercharged RS4 out the workshop, which is for sale, by the way. I did put a link on my Instagram. I might just put a link in the video as well. It is live on eBay on a classified ad, so I'll put the link to the RS4 in there if anyone's interested. And I've also sold 2 cars. I mean, this is how long I haven't been in the workshop for. I've sold 2 cars. So the RS3 has gone, unfortunately, and also the old A3 S3, sorry, 8L, that was sold last week. And also my new S3 that went to Cambridge Audi to be sold, that has now sold as well, guys. So I've actually just offloaded 3 cars since I did my last video. So yeah, it's all kicking off. So after we've done the Passat, I've got the Golf GTI there as well. We've got to do a diagnosis video on that because if you remember, it's lacking power top end. So we need to try and find the fault with that before I can tune it. And we've got the Porsche as well. I mean, I haven't done anything to that for ages. I just haven't had time. So got a lot of stuff to do, not a lot of time to do it. Classic. So let's get on with today's video, guys. Get the Passat in the workshop and start taking, well, we'll go over it and see what's wrong with it. I don't know why I'm filming myself just struggle. Bloody car. So the first thing you want to be doing when you get the car in the air, we know the clutch is faulty, but the first thing you should always do is just a health check on the car. Just go around the rest of the car just to make sure there's nothing else untoward, because the last thing you want to do is fit a clutch, take it down the road and then realise it needs something else and then surprise the customer with another £200–300 bill. So first thing I always do is just now go over the whole car just to make sure it is the clutch and the flywheel that just need doing. We also know about the front brakes, but just going around the car, everything else, to be fair, looks okay. The rear discs aren't in perfect condition. I mean, you would probably, if you're at a dealer, it'd probably be an advised they get replaced, but because of the full surface area is being used back and front, backside and the front side of the discs, and the age of the car, it's just not worth replacing them. They will be doing a fine job, so there's no point spending another 200 quid on rear disc and pads on this. It wouldn't be worth it. So they are okay. As I said, I did the tyres on this probably about 3 or 4 months ago, rear tyres, they're fine. Just checked all the exhaust is all fine, not hanging off anywhere. Down at the front is all good. No CB boots, no oil leaking, well, here anyway. The thing that I did, the C-links here are deteriorated, but they're not massively, they're fine. Just yanked on the anti-roll bar, there's no movement or anything, so I'm not going to bother replacing those either, they're okay. And as you can see, the front discs are knackered. Look, there's only about 65% of the surface area on the backs, a bit more on this side being used. However, we do seem to have a problem. If you have a look at this brake pad, look, you can see it's probably got about, what, 8 or 9 mil of pad life left in it. But if we go over to this side, it's pretty much metal to metal. So we have either a caliper sticking on or we have a caliper seized. One or the other. So we're going to have to look into the calipers when we remove and strip the brakes down as to why one side is wearing more than the other. Just I think the front springs, everything else up there is all okay. The only other thing I found is pretty common problem. Don't worry about the coolant leaking. I actually nicked a Jubilee clip off this to fix my Fiat, which I put on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. I had a coolant leak on that and I needed a Jubilee clip, and I actually nicked it off of this, so that's why there's coolant leaking. The oil leak though is intercooler seals, so these pipes here have little rubber O-rings in them here, which stops the oil obviously coming out, and very common problem on VAG cars of this age. They just, the seals perish and it just leaks oil. So a couple of new seals in there, clean all that up and that should be fine as well. And I think that is pretty much it, to be fair. So it's not our front tyres, they're not, this one was flat so it might have a slight puncture, but there's still about 4 mil of tread on that one. This one's getting there, it's not got a million miles left, so I might recommend Yeah, it's only on about 2 mil this side. So I might recommend just a pair of front tyres just for peace of mind. But it's up to him. If he wants it done, he can have it done. I'll just recommend it. I think that's pretty much it. So, knowing all that now, we'll start stripping the gearbox and trying to find the fault with the clutch. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but what happens is you put it into gear, take your foot off clutch, car doesn't move, you can rev it, do whatever you want. It just stays stationary. So, suspect clutch, remove gearbox to diagnose further. So that is what we're going to do now. There we have it, got the gearbox out. They're not actually that bad to do on the Passats. Obviously it's only front wheel drive, longitudinal engine and gearbox, no prop shaft, so everything's pretty accessible. I can do, obviously undo all the bolts from below, so there's nothing I've got to do up top. Did everything down here. Don't even have to remove the drive shaft. So, and the gear linkage cables are very nice and easy as well, so it's actually a pretty simple job. Only took about, if I wasn't filming, it would have been about 40 minutes to take the gearbox out, I suppose. However, we have got it out and I have found the problem. And if you have a look here, there you go, there's our problem. Clutch completely disintegrated. So I'm going to just remove the clutch. We'll have a look a bit further. So clutch and flywheel now both out. Found the problem with the clutch. It's not actually worn out, well, in terms of wear on the friction plate. It's just broken. Bit weird, but it's snapped all the fixings in the middle of it. So no idea how that's happened. But that's the clutch knackered, and the flywheel also knackered. The bump stops for the flywheel are just hitting each other, so there's no actual damping taken up there. They're just banging into basically the bump stops worn out, so the flywheel is knackered as well. So yeah, new clutch and flywheel required. Right, so that's the clutch and flywheel all ordered. They should be here tomorrow. So next I'm actually going to strip the brakes down so we can assess what is wrong, because we've either got a seized caliper or we've got the other one is sticking on, so we need to find out which is which. So what I'll do now is I'll just strip the calipers down and see what we've got basically. Well, I've just finished stripping the brakes. The near side brakes were fine, the sliders were both quite free, and the caliper pushback absolutely fine. I've just stripped this offside though, and the slider pins appear to be pretty seized in. I've managed to get them out, but they were pretty tight. So what you have here, they don't look that bad, but they were very tight to get out. I couldn't get them out with my hands. I had to proper press them out, but I'm not going to show you, but here, look, it's just a load of debris build up, and it just stops the pins from sliding properly. So what's probably, there's quite a big lump here, look, that might be quite big lumps there. And basically what happens is when you put your foot on the brake, the pins will press in, but then they won't release properly because they can't slide back, so they might just hold the brakes on ever so slightly, which is why the offside pads would have worn a lot more than the near side. So it don't look that bad, but actually they've caused quite a lot of pain in the arse. So I will clean those up. I will clean all up in here, clean those pins up, and so they should move freely after that. A piston pushback, absolutely fine, so there's not an issue with that. So as I said earlier, guys, I'm going to split this video up into 2 parts purely because I've ordered parts and I've now got to wait tomorrow, wait until tomorrow for them. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to pause working on the Passat, And as you can just see here, look, I've just got the Golf GTI on because I'm now going to start doing a video on that. I'm going to try and bank some videos here because I don't know how long I'll get in the workshop before I've got to go out driving again. So we're going to pause on the Passat. Next video you're going to see is the Golf GTI. I'm going to diagnose the running fault with it and why it took so long to get to 120. And I think I found the problem. So we're halfway on the Passat. The next video will be just getting, or pretty much putting it back together. New clutch firewall, front brakes and intercooler seals will be here, and I'll fit them and then we'll test the car to make sure it's all good. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully in the next day or two you should see a video on the Golf GTI as well. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.